ate it. I just ate dairy. And I think about this almost every day, how much I just want to stop. I want to stop. I want to be vegan again, and I want to be vegan for the rest of my life, and I want to eat clean, and I want to have a clean mind, a clean soul, a clean body. I want to clean all my body from its toxins, from eating all of these animals. I want to show all of my love to these animals and to myself. I want to love my own body and love myself.
I watched the documentary Earthlings, and I've been vegan 3 times throughout my life, and every time I've failed in that journey and went back to eating meat products, mostly because it's convenient and it tastes good, and I didn't have the willpower to continue a plant-based diet. And it really showed me today, after being reminded of these images and these facts of how animals are treated in these farm conditions, that it's just simply not okay.
I was vegetarian for a year, and then I'm like, okay, it's time to go to the next level, it's time to step it up, it's time to go vegan. And that shit was so hard. Like, I was vegan probably about 3 months. I was struggling so hard to give up cheese.
Many people adopt a plant-based diet for its health benefits. They jump into it with good intentions, but with a lack of knowledge. This ultimately leads to failure and going back to eating meat and dairy. You might even joke with a friend, stating that you could never be vegan because you simply cannot give up cheese. This, however, is no joke. Food addiction is very real, and there's actually some science behind it. Dairy is ranked the highest, in particular cheese. When 500 people completed the Yale Food Addiction Scale, pizza unsurprisingly came out on top as the most addictive food. Milk contains an ingredient called casein, a protein found in all milk products. During digestion, casein releases opiates called casomorphins. This contains a very similar chemical compound to heroin, or as the name implies, morphine. All mammals produce milk for their babies. Research believes that this occurs as a way to ensure babies, humans, cows, etc., continue to nurse during infancy, which helps the survival of the species. As they grow, solid foods are introduced and slowly weaned off breast milk. It is estimated that 68% of humans worldwide are lactose intolerant. We as humans almost immediately thrust milk and other dairy products upon our children, creating a lifelong addiction. Due to increased demand for meat and dairy, livestock animals live in overcrowded and filthy conditions. Many animals live their lives standing in their own feces and urine. In order to counteract this, farmers pump their animals full of antibiotics. They are also given steroids in order for them to grow much larger in a shorter amount of time. When calves are born, they are taken away from their mothers within 24 hours. This causes both mother and baby distress. Some farmers will even give them a drug, butyrophil, which is classified as a highly addictive narcotic. Opioid residues can be found if the cow has not had an obligatory 7-day withdrawal period. Chickens have become significantly larger since the 1950s due to hormones and selective breeding. They grow so large that it is hard for them to stand. When given the option, lame birds choose to eat feed that is laced with painkillers.
What was explosive is immediately seeing these drugs, which were never approved for use in food animals because they're highly hazardous, still showing up in the food supply. It was sort of stunning.
Drugs like chloramphenicol, an antibiotic linked to potentially deadly anemia, and ketamine, an hallucinogenic party drug, an antidepressant, among others. All of them banned or severely restricted drugs, yet trace amounts have shown up in meat samples, and no one, including the USDA or FDA, seems to know exactly how they're getting into the meat supply.
A small study was conducted where healthy, sober adults were given 50 milligrams of naltrexone, a drug that can help prevent relapses into alcohol or drug use. Their overall appetites were decreased. This suggests food addiction and drug addiction are very similar. The use of antibiotics may seem harmless or even a good idea, but antibiotics have major drawbacks. New and emerging research suggests a connection between the coronavirus and antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance occurs when the bacteria change in response to the use of these medicines. Bacteria, not humans or animals, become antibiotic resistant. These bacteria may infect humans and animals, and the infections that they cause are harder to treat than those by non-resistant bacteria. Bacteria is easily spread, whether it's a wet market in China, a slaughterhouse, or even your local burger joint. If that bacteria has encountered too many antibiotics in livestock feed and has developed antibiotic resistance and you eat it, you are in major trouble. It is estimated that 1,300 people have died so far from the coronavirus, yet 35,000 people in the US die each year due to drug resistance.
The so-called miracle of modern medicine would cease to exist, and our healthcare systems would regress to the state they were in the early 20th century. So why is this happening? Well, firstly, because doctors and medical professionals are handing out too many antibiotics, leading to calls for them only to be given out when they absolutely have to be. An even bigger and more widespread problem is related to the food that we eat. According to the FDA, in the US, 80% of all antibiotics sold are used on animal farms, and in Europe, animals consume more antibiotics than humans, meaning that the use of antibiotics in animal farming is driving the rise of resistant bacteria.
We as a nation are hooked on antibiotics. As the saying goes, you are what you eat. People clutch tightly to their meat and dairy, the same way a drug addict clutches onto their stash. Addicts like to enable each other. They even want others to join in so that their addiction can continue.
That culture at the moment on YouTube, right? It's not just the carnivores, although the carnivores are part of it. It's that ex-vegan, anti-vegan fraternity. They're like drug pushers. Honestly, they're like pushing animal foods onto people.
The first step to breaking any addiction is realizing that you have a problem. The second step is finding a solution. All scientific studies point to the direction of reducing your meat intake and switching to vegetarian options. Switching to a plant-based diet has incredible benefits. Not only are you lowering your risk of many diseases, you are decreasing the harm to our planet. The animals you spare in the process are also very thankful. Thank you for watching. I hope you make the right decision. Be well and eat well. Bye.